anyway, no one really cares about that because it's like freaking boring information, but the system that I normally use doesn't work anymore. So I hope you guys can see me. I had to download a whole new system. I think it's working. I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry that this is late. I did not have any clue that YouTube has changed the way that they live stream. But I'm gonna wait until I see if anyone can see me before I start into my other apology that I need to do. I think it's working. Yes, it's working. Okay, so literally, I just like, oh my God. Hey guys, sorry. Anyway, if you are just now joining me, there was so many issues with the way that YouTube has changed their live streaming, and I had to find a completely different server to do my streams on because the one I was using doesn't work. I tried a million times downloading, restarting my computer. No one really cares. I know. So I think this is working, and if it's not, let me know. But I also just wanted to say that I am super sorry for being away for so long. Not only that, but for not giving you guys like an explanation of where I've been. And I'll quickly want to talk about that, and then I will get into how to get away with murder because really nobody came here to hear apologies or excuses or whatever. But basically, I have been watching How to Get Away with Murder. I've been super, super busy with various jobs, and I literally don't have free time at all. It's insane. And I've thought every week, like, I wanted to do a live chat, and I kept thinking, you know, I'll have time to do it, and I just never did. And I hope this is not lagging. If it is, please let me know, because on my end, it looks frozen. So if it's frozen for you, I'm super sorry. We'll try to fix it. But anyway, I kept thinking I would be able to do a live chat. The reason I didn't make some kind of announcement or like an announcement video, you're on a cruise? Are you watching this from a cruise? That's so cool. I've never been on a cruise, Scorpio. I didn't even think you could get on the internet, and if you did, it cost like $1 million. But, you know, I didn't want to make a video. I started getting comments on social media and comments on my channel, and people were just angry or wondering, and they were like, well, why didn't you make some kind of statement? And, you know, I didn't make a statement because I don't want to stop doing YouTube, and I didn't really have like, hey, you know, I couldn't say like, hey, I'm gone now, but I'll be back whenever. So I just thought after watching this finale, I'm sorry, this is frozen. Oh my God. After watching this fall finale, I was like, I have to come back. And people were like, hey, please come back. Please come back. So I'm here for this, you know, and again, I do really apologize. I felt really bad. I actually avoided my YouTube comments for the longest time because I knew people would be upset, and I get that. I totally get that. And should I have said something? Yeah, probably. I just didn't know how to address it. You know, life happens. All kinds of different things have been going on in my life, and it's just like I could not find the time to do YouTube, and I feel really bad about that, okay? So I really do, and I just didn't want to be like, hey, I didn't want to come on here and be like, hey, I quit YouTube or whatever, because I didn't. But I also couldn't come on here and tell you when I would be back. But I'm back today. So let's talk about How to Get Away with Murder. Overall, I really haven't talked to anybody, any of you guys, anywhere about this half season. As you know, it's the final season, and overall I've been pretty impressed with it. I thought the first few episodes were really, really good. I thought there were a couple episodes leading up to the fall finale, which I found a little bit boring, which was kind of, you know, annoying to me. I didn't think they were terrible or anything, but I thought it being the final season, I really wanted like all of the episodes just to be fantastic. So I found a couple in my mind weren't as amazing as I thought they should be. Hopefully this is still working for you guys. I feel like I'm an SNL skit because it's frozen again. Anyway, for me, it's frozen. For me, it's totally frozen and out of focus, and I hope it's not like that for you because I'm on a new server. But anyway, but this fall finale, I didn't watch it the day that it aired. I watched it the next day. People were like tweeting me like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, did you see this fall finale? And I was like, okay, I have to just stay on social media because it sounds like it's really epic. Now, I will say leading up until the last few minutes of the fall finale, I was like, well, this is okay. But, you know, I thought the thing that everyone was like, oh my God, about was the Asher reveal as the mole. And I was like, well, that was okay. I'm not super impressed by that. I'm a little surprised by that. I'm not super impressed. But then I looked and I realized we had quite a bit of time left, and I was like, okay, some more stuff has to be coming. So then we had, and I hope everyone has caught up on the show. I really, really hope nobody has not seen this finale, because I'm just going to give you a little warning right now. There were two major, major, major things that happened in this finale, and I would hate for you to be spoiled from this. So please click out if you're watching this later or live. I don't want you to hear it from me. That sucks. I hate being spoiled. So anyway, when we found out that Asher had been murdered, so some things that were going through my mind, basically when he was with Oliver and Oliver thought that he ran away, I believe he was kidnapped along with the fire poker, whatever that thing is. What do you call that thing? By the murderer, by the person who murdered him. Now, I put in my title my thoughts about Tegan. So I like Tegan as a character. I think she's cool. And if I knew her and worked with her, I would probably be like, this woman is really trustworthy. I like her. But that being said, I think, Nate has said over and over and over that she's a shady person. He definitely thinks she's up to no good. And they keep drilling that in our minds, but like everyone dismisses him and they think he's crazy because he killed an innocent person, Miller. So I think it was kind of interesting. I was thinking about this today. The fact that they tried to call Tegan because Laurel said that Tegan was the person who helped her disappear. And I think it was interesting that they made that phone call to her and she didn't answer. Now, I thought, why would I include that in that scene after seeing how everything played out? And I'm wondering if Tegan is behind. Maybe she didn't act alone, but I strongly feel that Asher was kidnapped along with the weapon rather than him like disappearing. Let me know what you think about that. And then I can't really put two and two together as far as where he was bludgeoned to death in the head. I agree with Luke talking about Nate, how he has been super annoying, but I also think there may be some reasoning behind that because they want us to almost be like, oh my God, this Nate is so annoying and he's crazy and he killed an innocent person and he's so like, he's like going out, he's just will not take the settlement with this lawsuit. Like he has to, make sure that the governor pays for what she did because we know she's shady. And everything about Nate in this season has just been like, this man is so annoying. He's just hell-bent on his way or no way. And I think I feel like they're driving that into us because they want us to be like, this guy's just freaking insane and what the heck, he's insane. He keeps saying Tegan's crazy. We all look, she's cool. We watch her. She's awesome. Look here, she helped Laurel. She's super cool. So he's insane. He thinks she's, trouble and he's crazy. But you know how they like to, keep things as a surprise and unveil things. And I just feel like they've really been hoping the audience thinks Nate's insane. Nate's obsessed with, the governor going down for killing his dad. He's just, even though it's a better deal to take Tegan's deal. And so I think they want us to dislike Nate. And I feel like they have been telling us all along that Tegan is evil. And that is true, even though it really does not look like it. And the only person who thinks that, and I think Bonnie has been suspicious of her as well. So the other big thing, and I do want to kind of talk about so Leo says Asher died in the hallway of his apartment building sometime after he left Bonnie's. But do you think that he voluntarily walked out of Bonnie's, and at the same time, would he have taken that weapon with him, which had already been used to hit him over the head, even though that didn't kill him? Because this, perfect for them to be framed for his murder because they had already used the weapon on him, and then someone who actually killed him used the same weapon. I just think it's bizarre that he would voluntarily walk out of that house with the weapon. I don't know. So now the big reveal, which I'm so happy I wasn't spoiled. I had no idea. I thought that was the OMG moment was Asher's murder. And that's what everyone on Twitter, I was like, that's what they were talking about. And I will say, you know what? That was cool. They went there. They killed another main character. I'm down with that. I want to see how that plays out. But then we go back to that reoccurring scene that we have seen so much throughout this season where it's Annalise's funeral. Now, when they announced that Annalise was dead, I never for once believed that she really was, and I definitely thought that she would fake her death, disappear, exactly how that is playing out so far. So we see someone who looks like Wes with a haircut stand up at the funeral. Now, I will say I have a few issues with this, and I even did a video a while ago that people have been commenting on about the fact that I thought Wes could have a twin and my theory along with that. And You know, if those of you who watch Pretty Little Liars and other shows who rely on an evil twin or something like that to explain a mystery type of show, definitely really bothers me. I feel like that's kind of an easy way out. So I'm hoping that there's something more to this than he has an evil twin. But of course, it could definitely be that he has an evil twin since he has kind of a, you know, undisclosed shady type of background. We really don't know the whole story. His mom definitely could have had twins because we don't know for sure, like clearly. We just know what we've been told about his background and upbringing. Let me know if everything's still working on here because the chat has kind of stopped. So I may just be talking to no one because I am still frozen in the same space on my on my screen on this new server here. So I am gonna be kind of pissed if he has an evil twin and that explains everything. If evil twin killed Asher, and I mean, I also want you guys to think about why was Asher murdered? You know, Asher was doing a deal with the FBI. He was the mole, but he was also telling everyone like, hey, I was the mole, but I was giving them just enough information to protect you. He stopped people from saying damning information that would put them in prison, that would give the FBI what they needed to lock them up, you know? Hopefully people can still see me. I don't know. I'm frozen. That freaking sucks. I don't know. I knew how to fix the old server, but this one, I'm just glad that I'm somehow. Oh, I think I might be moving again. I think that was like Wes or whoever, or Christoph or whoever we're going to say who this person is. Thank you guys so much for being here also after me being gone with no explanation for a while. I do appreciate that some people are still here and still interested in what I have to say and still participating in the chat. That is so cool and I appreciate that. But anyway, with Wes, you can also look at it as the fact that perhaps he never died. Now, I'm also going to have a problem with that. And sadly, both of these scenarios, whether it's evil twin or he didn't really die, really bring me back to Pretty Little Liars, for those of you who've watched that show, who did something with both of these aspects, having an evil twin and also having a person killed off where they showed the dead body. Remember, they showed, I'm pretty sure they showed Wes's dead face. And then, you know, in Pretty Little Liars, I'm going to quit talking about it because it's upsetting. But like, you know, they kind of, I feel like if you show someone dead and then you're like, you know what, they never died, that is just lazy, okay? And then if you have to explain a mystery show, explain a bad person, like the evil villain all along was someone's freaking evil twin who we didn't even know existed, so we can't even theorize and suspect that person, lazy, you know? And I hope, even though like I feel like How to Get Away with Murder has struggled in previous seasons, it's never to me been as good as it started out. It would really upset me if we're going to go out on one of these two ways of lazy writing, whereas somebody had an evil twin and the evil twin was the big villain throughout the whole thing, but hey, we couldn't figure that out because we didn't know this person existed. So that's really unfair to the viewers, and it's just such a cop-out, you know? You know, I would be so much happier if the most evil person is somebody that we have known from day one. Like, let it be Bonnie, let it be Connor. I don't care, you know. Yeah, do I like some of the cast? I do. But I'm down for it being someone who has been backstabbing them the whole time, you know. But we have this element that our Asher was going and telling a lot of their secrets. So I don't know if they're going to throw another one of like the Keating whoever, Keating 4, Keating 5, and say they're the evil villain too. But I'm interested to see what you guys, I'm going to read some of your comments because I have more thoughts, but let me read some of this. Megan says, when Gabriel opens the door and says hi, he looks down and then back up. You think it's Asher, and Gabriel's looking down at the blood on his shirt and then back up. So perhaps he was seeing Asher right after he was attacked by what, Oliver? Oliver was the one who hit him initially, and maybe he was like surprised, but I almost felt like he kind of had a smile on his face. And whether or not you liked Asher, if someone came to my door, whether or not I liked them and they had blood all over them, I would just be like, not smiling. I felt like his expression was off for someone to show up with blood on them unexplained. So we have some more theories here. Larissa says you feel like Hannah, Sam's sister, visited Gabriel. She's probably coming back because they've mentioned her consistently for a while now. Leo is wondering about Oliver. You've always watched him slightly. I think you mean that Oliver perhaps is our evil person. Now, thinking about it this way, remember when Asher was taken away, kidnapped, walked out on his own, whatever, we did have Oliver as the only person in the room. Now, he claimed he walked away to get some towels. Maybe. You know, I made some theory videos back in the day about Oliver being evil and really got slammed in the comments, and people were freaking hateful and coming for me and hated me and called me a lot of names. I have never had a personal problem with Oliver. Like, I know the guy. I've always liked him and I always liked his character, but he's so nice. He's too nice, and we know nothing really about his background. Maybe we do know a few things, but, you know, I mean, I would be really cool with it. I think it's cool when you have a bad person who's convincingly a good person who turns out to be bad. Does that mean, you know, and that doesn't mean, oh, hey, I hate Oliver. That means, yeah, they did such a great job convincing us that we could trust this person that when they do the switch, it's going to be that much more interesting rather than it being the freaking, being the Castillos. I don't care about them anymore. I'm so sick of them. And it does kind of bother me that there's still such an element. There's still such an, you know, important part of this show, and it's going to go down that way. Luke says Tegan went MIA after the party. She's definitely involved. You know, I think she is. I really do. But we have to, you know, figure out, do we believe that Oliver went to get some towels and has no idea what happened to Asher? I really, I'm sorry, I have an alarm going off. I really, really, really do not believe that Asher walked out of that house on his own with the murder weapon. You know, he could have been called or whatever, but I still think it's fire poker. Still think it's really weird that even if someone like called him in a state of distress or whatever, and they're like, hey, meet me out back or whatever, it maybe pretended to be Bonnie or who knows, like, why would you pick up the fire poker? My only other thought on that is he picked up the fire poker to destroy that or something. But I don't know. That doesn't even make sense, you know. I also agree with Scorpio that Tegan freaking kills it, and I cannot do the accent that she does, but when she says Castillo, Laurel's family name, she freaking murders it every time in a good way. Like, she is on it. Like, that is so good. Gemini says, you wonder if maybe the unspeakable act that Tegan did for Jorge may have had something to do with Wes's death. Very interesting, which possibly might explain for helping Laurel, or her helping Laurel. Maybe she was sending her to Wes. So all of that stuff is just really shady to me, you know. And again, I think it's cool, and maybe, you know, I'm off base, and maybe Tegan is a really cool person, but I think she's a cool person, and I like her, and I think it's so cool that she's so likable that she could have an evil side, and I just think it's just, unless they really are just hell-bent on us ending the show thinking that Nate is a freaking crazy person, which Nate has been in the show, I feel like, from pretty much the whole time. Are we going to go out on thinking that this man has just lost his mind and is just hell-bent on people paying? Obviously, what happened to his dad was really terrible, but we're going out on really negative vibes for Nate, really not being a likable person anymore. Again, he's been through a lot of crap, so I get that. But that confrontation he had between, at first, I started thinking, like, when he had that confrontation between him and Annalise, I was like, is he gonna, like, hurt her or something? Especially after seeing all the tweets, like, about how something huge happened in the finale, and I was nervous, and she was nervous, and I was like, oh my God, is he gonna attack her? Like, that was so intense. Marissa's asking, where is Annalise escaping to? I don't know. If I had to say, I would think it would be like some remote tropical island. I saw earlier in the comments, and I don't remember who said it, but someone thinking that she still will die because of whatever, plane crash or something. I could totally see that as well. I just did not believe, I still feel like the funeral that we're seeing is fake and part of her death faking, but hey, maybe she does die in a different way than, maybe she does die. Maybe that's a real funeral, but I didn't think that, you know. Nicholas says, you think that if, hold on a second. I think that if you were to answer that the fire, wow, I don't know what you're trying to say here. Hold on, say it again, because I'm getting confused. Ashley React says, remember in a scene from last week's episode, Oliver turns himself in and says he's the murderer, so that scene was about Asher's murder. True, and I feel like, hey, well, that's good. That's a good thing to bring back to our attention, because most of the time when someone confesses to a murder in one of these shows, it's not going to be them. And he just seems like out of his mind, you know? Gemini said Nate definitely moved from likable to get him off the show in the last 2 seasons. He's honestly somewhat off-putting, right? Like, he's so angry, you know, and I want to be like, I don't like him, but at the same time, what happened to his dad was terrible. And then, does he realize that freaking Miller was innocent? Because now Bonnie knows. But like, that would put me over the edge. I couldn't function. Like, if I already had lost my dad in such a terrible way, and then I realized I murdered someone who was trying to help my dad, you know, I would lose it. So I don't think he knows that. But Luke says the promo for the next half of the season literally says we will know who killed Annalise, so that mystery is still on. Okay, so I've been watching the show on the ABC app, and unless I'm wrong about this, I never see the previews for next week or for the next half season, so I never saw that, so that's really interesting. Gemini says you don't see the writers killing off Annalise, losing Viola Davis in the final season, and maybe until the last episode. I definitely think she won't. If someone actually killed her, that's the reveal for the finale. Because, well, at that point, can they kill her off? Yeah, they can, because the show is over and doesn't matter anymore. I never thought that they would kill her off. Throughout the years, people have kind of theorized that maybe she would be killed off in this season or that season, and I'm like, no, like, Annalise is the show, whether you like her or not, and they could not kill her off. The only way they would have been able to kill her off was to constantly have her in flashbacks, kind of the way they do with Jack and This Is Us, where she's a constant presence. But I thought it would be really weird that she was always in the past. I guess they could have done it. I'm glad they didn't do it that way. So I am going to be interested to see how that plays out. But I'm also super interested to see how they're going to explain the Wes sighting, whether that's Wes or Christoph, or I always wondered if those were two different people. And I hope if they go with either evil twin or Wes really never died, I hope it's believable, because right now both of those options seem really lame to me, and I'm having trouble with both of those, and it concerns me that they are going down that way. However, I think, you know, having Wes, or who was someone, it was obviously Alfred Enoch, having him show back up was a huge shocker. I don't think anyone can say they saw that coming. And I think that it was an amazing way to end the fall finale. Regardless of how this plays out, that was a really smart move on their part, but I'm concerned to see how they explain that in the few episodes that we have left. Nicholas says we saw Wes charred with half a face. Even the side of his face that was burnt, the side they showed of him in the episode was fine. Now, I know there's different, I guess, types of reconstructive surgery that he could have gotten to explain the fact that he didn't die. Hi, Skylar. Thank you so much for being here. But again, it's such a stretch to say that he survived, and it's just such a stretch to think that he had an evil twin, perhaps who's been doing evil things and maybe is behind, been feeding information to the FBI to avenge his brother's death or whatever. All of that is just like, I'm sure you've seen that kind of scenario played out on all kinds of shows. And to me, it's just like, kind of like for a teen show. It's just kind of like for some low budget something, and this has been a very, you know, popular, well-received show, I think, for the most part. I know people would always tell me, like, hey, the ratings are down, and I owe it to myself and to all of you to be doing these kind of things, because this is, you know, I was thinking watching the fall finale that regardless of how it plays out, even if it plays out in some lame way, how it all goes down, how it all ends, I'm really going to miss the show. I really do like the show. There have been down moments. There have been things I didn't really agree with, but I always did look forward to a new season of it. And I think for the most part, this season has been pretty good. I'm going to read some more comments. I'm hoping that you guys can still hear me or something. But I see that the comments have stopped again. So I can only imagine that maybe I'm stopped. I really don't know. But I'll read some more comments. If anybody can still hear me, let me know. Nicholas said, what if Wes went to Gabriel's place that night? Well, I was kind of thinking that was the person who was there. Larissa says, you don't think it's Wes or a twin. What if it's an aged up version of Christopher at the funeral? I mean, no, but how can we explain that? Because that person looks just like Wes, right? Leo says in the funeral you can't see any of Annalise's family members, and you think that's interesting. Yeah, it's just all like really. I have so many questions, which I think is good because we should have all kinds of questions. We shouldn't have it figured out. Gemini says they never did reveal what happened with the body, which we're talking about Wes. So that makes you think it's not going the evil twin route, and it's definitely Wes coming back. So, yeah, I think there was a lot of drama about Wes and where was his body. I do remember that. So, I mean, I feel like, guys, that is so freaking lame, though, to be like, yeah, we killed him. They showed his face and everything, and they're going to be like, oh, yeah, but by the way, surprise, he survived. So the other element that I definitely think we should talk about, if my barking dog will let me, because, we'll just add that to the circus of events that have happened tonight. Like, it's like the universe does not want me to do this live chat because we have had a lot of issues. Tinkerbell, she can't even hear me, so I'll probably have to get up and get her. But anyway, she's 15. She's 15. 15. Help. I need help. Send help. But anyway, we do need to talk about Laurel. But hold on. I'm going to have to go get my dog so she can quit barking. Hang on 1 second. Okay, Tinkerbell. Come back in here. No more barking. Okay, get in. Okay. So, that should work. Okay. Okay, hi. So here's another really good observation. I like this from T, saying that maybe that funeral scene is a dream. Now, it does look really bizarre to me. I like the thoughts about we don't see anyone, right? Okay, do we see anybody in those flashbacks or flash forwards? Did we see any of like her, the Keating Five or whatever, anybody she knows, or like Bonnie or anybody? Or are we the only person we recognize as Wes? That's interesting. Could this be a dream that Annalise is having, and maybe she's like haunted thinking that Wes is still alive or something like that? That's an interesting thought. I will say on the topic of dreams, that also don't really like dream sequences like that either. Also has been played out a million times in a million shows, hoping that they would be a little more imaginative, if that's what it is. Ashley says, you're kind of upset about Asher being dead. You liked him and Michaela together. I think Asher annoys me. I can't say that I love him. I think I just have like kind of like a love-hate thing with him. He kind of drives me nuts half the time, but I don't dislike him, and it's like he's funny in a dorky way, but he's also annoying. But I know he really, really, really cares about Michaela, and I found that very sincere. Hold on. Tinkerbell, you're ruining my live chat. Please stop. Come here. Okay. Like the fact that he wanted to marry Michaela and all of that stuff, I felt like that was totally sincere, and like I really think that he means that. And I also think it was kind of sad that he was like trying to marry her, like he was proposing to her and all of that stuff, and basically he freaking was murdered. And I really honestly thought that they might get engaged or even married on the show. So, hey, wait a minute. Would Gabriel be the person that killed Asher? Because he's definitely jealous of him, and he knew, like, he was kind of standing in his way of Michaela. Even though I know, like, Gabriel had a new girlfriend, I think he was just doing that, like, basically to make Michaela jealous. Okay. Jada says, you just got here, but what if Asher killed someone before he died from his wound? Who do you think? Well, someone murdered him. It wasn't like Oliver was the reason that he died, but who do you think he might have killed? Oh, something else that I wanted to mention too. It seemed weird to me when Asher, I thought it was really bizarre that Asher wiped all that blood on him, and I was like, wait, why is he doing that? Did you think that was weird? I just felt that was so strange that he did that. I don't know. Larissa says the funeral and the flash forward might tie into the funeral Annalise had to think of back when she was in rehab in the first episode this season. What if that's her image of what her funeral would be? That's cool. I like that. And maybe she's like freaking out thinking like, oh my God, Wes really didn't die and he's going to show up at the funeral. Maybe like after we see more of that funeral play out, he's going to get up and be like, hey, I'm so glad this woman's dead. Like, I hated her. She destroyed my life, and then I died because of her. Something along those lines, you know. Luke says, although it seems that they were all going to go to jail for everything, you kind of think the show is going to end with them getting away with it, living up to the show's name, How to Get Away with Murder. I could also see that too. Absolutely. Could see that. And I'm sorry that my dog is barking again. But anyway, yeah. Is there anything that we haven't discussed that you think that we should, or something that we should theorize about? I have definitely just been talking a lot just because I've had a lot of thoughts, and it's cool that I finally get to share them with you guys because, well, it's my own fault, but I haven't been able to talk to anybody about it. Like, I don't even know anyone who watches it. I had friends in real life who watched it and they gave up somewhere along the lines of where it got like kind of boring. So,